Okay. So, I had a bunch of technical difficulties. This video should be not like 5 seconds long. And also I like totally decided to change. It looks so sad. This disadvantaged height relative to the camera. Anyway, sorry. Let me fix. People in the 1700s. Oh, okay, bro. I think you need a pen that's the left. Okay. Cause they had to stand like, yeah. Anyway, what was I saying? I was telling you the story. Okay, so I was telling you the story, and it was actually really unclear what I was telling it about. That's when I did that, right? And then I was like, I used to really be into making movies, and then I was like, well, let me tell you my artistic influences. Okay, why I'm telling you my artistic influences is because why was I so into making movies, right? Because that was like my start, and then I was like, you know what? Actually, fuck movies. I love music, and I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I love writing stories, and then I just ricochet between the two, and then video has like been like this like, oh, like what if I like it was like so dangerous, blah blah blah. Anyway, so the thing, I actually prefer if this is editing. I wish I knew it. There we go. So the thing that I was saying is this thing. I made this YouTube video in high school. And there was this shot where there was like stuff like this in the corner of the shot, and it was meant to show because I was like for some reason I had like the most insanely strange like thing that I thought was cool to do, which was like to have all these characters that were like kind of ironically like not drug addicts, but they like ironically had like real problems. Like there was this guy who was like obsessed with like YouTubers. And he was like, they'd always be addicted to something like oat milk, or they'd always be like in hell, but it was like just this random canal. Like the whole idea was always like put them in like a horrible economics position or like something, but it's like they're role playing it, like it's like a role play, and it's like, but it's like this like basically like a universal role play, because one of the ideas I had was like there's like this scene. We never actually like filmed the main thing. We just like would go and film like a video at a time. So one of them is like this video of us beating up lettuce, and then the next one is like this video of me and my friend having like the stupidest argument ever where he's just like, I hate you and you're lame, and then I kill him. And then we both end up in a canal near my house. But that was like I like retroactively like gave all of that lore. Like I put like lore into all of that. And so like the plot was that they were like in hell. Like they were like, but they weren't in hell. They were like 8 was literally a canal, but it was like, I don't know. Like they were like, and then the reason they were in hell was because they were mean to each other or something. And like it was literally like that argument like sent them to hell, and like they had to like live with this like they could leave, but they were like sort of like not allowed to have an identity. Like they weren't like allowed to like be like people, or they weren't allowed to like go. They didn't like have a home. They like lost. They could love to be people, but they were like allowed. Like they couldn't like have like names or like be in a family or something like this. And so what they had to do was like, I just remember like this guy would like join this group who lived by like stealing the fruit from people's backyard, like as like a drug trade, but it was like a range of like this sort of like power, sort of like, I don't know the word that's not what paralegal means. It was like it's like not legal, but it's like not illegal. It was just like this like sort of thing, but it was organized, but it wasn't like legally organized. Like it wasn't like it was like an enrolled business. But then he would like have these like experiences where he would just be like lying under a tree in someone's backyard, and it was like extremely cozy. And then the other guy was just like doing unrelated shit, and they had like their lives were like they were like in the exact same situation, like this absurd situation with each other, where they were just like they had to like pay some like. They'd like make money to get out, but it was just like this like ridiculous amount of money, so they just sort of like would live. But they're like in this very similar situation with each other, and they just like didn't even bond over it. Like they would just like go off and like join these like weird groups, and like they were like it's funny because it's like they're like, oh, like those the two were like sent to hell, they kind of identities, but then like no one else really did either. Like they just everyone just like sort of like roam around and like just do like it was just like the most inefficient like stagnant economy. But it was like sort of in this like urban area, so like no one really noticed like how lazy these people are. You would just assume it was a bunch of old people living in the suburb, but it wasn't like a bunch of old people living in the suburb, even though it had like like equal economic activity. Or like I guess like because I guess like old people have a lot of economic activity, but like just like no one made anything or like produced any goods. They just like subsisted off of fruit that was grown like in people's houses, and like they barely had enough food to eat. Like they just would do that all day, and then just sit in places and like just sleep in a different part of like a park every night. And that was like sort of like the like hype experience of the night would be like, where is he gonna sleep, and like what will his sleeping conditions be like, and like it was just like that. And like, you know, will he like hang out with one of the guys from his like job? Anyway, that was kind of like the vague idea of the plot of that. There was like more like metaphysical lore, but I can't really remember that stuff. Like classic David Hume problem. Anyway, but then I was like, okay. Oh yeah, so the idea was like this shot was from a video about like some guy who like is obsessed with like buying, like he like and it was he like would like this is a video and like for some reason he gets like just it was always like we do like again every video was the same. I actually realized that all two of them were like another one was like the Avatar of the Last Airbender, but it was with up and goes. And like all the brands that like weren't up and go brands were like the evil people, and there's only one up and go, like the up and go boys or something. And like only like it was just that. Like it was literally like it was like that. It was like the excitement and drama of like a serious like gangster film every time. But it was always like manually like produced by just being really weird, like being really obsessed with something. So it was like this like very concrete drama, but it was just because they were like super LARP or like super obsessed with like some really stupid thing. And so the other one I did, which was like my big like masterpiece that I had been like planning, was this thing called fucking Julian's Weekend, which was basically like racism. It was like these kids like wanted like it's always like, oh, we just want to create a group, like and we're just gonna use any excuse to make a group. Yeah, Julian's Polish Weekend or something, and it's just like this group of friends who just like decide to like care fuck like they're all Polish, or like maybe they're not even Polish, but they're just like they're just like, oh, like we're Polish, like this is like our thing. And they just like go around and like find, and they would be like all these kids like they just like super identify with their ethnicity, like it was like their whole bit, like they just made it their thing. Like it's like, you know, like how kids are like, oh, like, let's all skate, like let's all fucking skate. They're just like, oh, let's all walk around and just be Polish. But they didn't engage in Polish culture. They just like used it, or like they did it in like a way that was like had nothing to do with like actually Polish people. Like they'd just be like, oh, this is like a Polish thing, so I'm just gonna like do this to like the most ridiculous like satirical like length. And the whole way, I'm actually meant to be doing like a job right now. I'm not meant to be walking around and stuff. Okay. Yeah, so I basically decided that like everything I just did, I don't want to do that, because I want to do this like it is. My friends have like fairy lights up in their house, and I want to do it like they. Oh no. I wanted to do it like how they have it in their house, because it's really awesome in their house. Where you go like across. Like you don't just have them lining this, you go like across. You'll see it in a second. I'll probably keep recording until like this is done pretty much. Anyway, so yeah, the point was always to like kind of of like there's like a distinction that isn't like exists, but it's like not potent, so it doesn't really produce any drama. And then I was like, okay, what if we like? I actually philosophically agreed with like what I was trying to do in all these stories. So it's like, you know, you have like we have like different ethnicities, but like it's like what does it actually change about you? Like you'll go to like Greek school, but it's never like the point is never like there's like the difference in the ethnicity is actually like what is meaningful. It's more just like having a group together and like giving ourselves a mission. Like it's like this sort of generic structure of like team and like enemy that I think that they were just trying to like pull out of like being they're trying to like pull out of being like of an ethnicity. Like they're just trying to be like, oh well, we can just like take as our excuse our ethnicity, or say that's the super important thing that we're gonna fight with other people over. It's like ethnicity. And so it's like these kids who just like intrinsically don't understand racism, right? And they try to like reinvent it because it just seems like it's almost like like a really good parody of racism, where it's like obviously this is fun for you because you get like a little team and an in-group and an out-group, and so but like when you just like make it so like kids do it. And it's not some like stupid super deep fucking humanity's evil statement like Lord of the Flies. It's like there is just like team fighting games are funny, right? And that's what racism is. It's team fighting games. Not like one way like unfunny racism okay, this is an insane thing to say. Anyway, I don't know how to say like the other kind of racism that isn't funny. I don't know, no, they're all pretty bad. But it's just it's like this is like a thing that of course you would find this cool, but like obviously the difference you're basing this like fighting game lifestyle is, and they're almost more mature because at least like these kids kind of know, like it's super obvious with these kids that the like racial difference between the kids was like actually had nothing to do with it. Like they weren't even Polish. Like they didn't speak Polish. They were all born in like Australia. It's like they didn't even they didn't even know anything about Poland, but they would just be like, oh, like sauerkraut is like a German food. Like we're just gonna eat sauerkraut. Like that was like the closest that they did. And then the problem they have other people was like, oh, like they wouldn't even be able to like properly insult them because like they weren't actually like stereotypically Polish at all. And like the funniest part at the end of this fucking story, is just like, oh, like racism is bad. They like work out, right? And it's basically this kid who's just trying to tell like the leader, like it's like, dude, why don't we just like do this without the Polish thing? Like, and then the guy's like, no, but then like, why would we be fighting these other people? Like, we wouldn't have a reason to fight them if it wasn't that we were distinguished based on race. And so like, I guess the whole thing is like this like sidekick trying to like find a reason to be oppositional with these other groups of kids that isn't race-based. And so the problem is that he actually has to find a better one. And like that's the kind of like he has to find like a better reason to like be oppositional to these other groups of kids. And I don't think I ever worked out like what it would be. But it's very similar to like things I like all that I basically like re-articulate in my Homestuck fanfiction. So it's like I definitely agree with that story. I remember my mom reading it and being like, this is stupid. Like this is not how racism works. And I remember like agreeing with her criticism. She actually turned out she was writing a book that was like weirdly similar to mine, where it's like you have like racial divides being really important, but like hers was like really grim and like realistic. And I think like I was like, oh, like yeah, you know what, my mom's right. I'm not being like realistic, and there's a real problem. And I'm like, no, in retrospect, no, that was like the genius of it, is that I just treated it so stupid. Because it actually ends up infantilizing racism in like I think a way that is inappropriate. Because I think it is childish. Like, I think racism is infantile. So it's like the infantilization is funny, both funnier and lighter, and also like more like it's more of a sting on racism. Anyway, that's not important. Then so that was okay. I was just thinking about my like. That was just sort of falling under the category of like I was obsessed with making movies, and that was the kind of movies that always make were themed like that. And also they just be then but I brought up like parenthetically. I brought up my list of sort of all my favorite, like my media that affected me. In the last part of this video series. And I was like, oh yeah, I can like state it all in order. And then I was like, okay, but obviously I'm not gonna state, or maybe this was cut out, but then I was like, obviously I could state things that aren't even media. Like I could state like events that happened to me and that were super important. And then I talked about this one thing called insert park name here. If I told you the park name, you would like literally already know like everything. You would know like where I live, pretty much. But if or where my heart lives, you would know. Oh, whoa. But insert park name here. So let's make a park like Hope Park here, or like Love Park here. Alright, that was the name of it. And it was this game. It was this kid's birthday party, and this kid like, he was just like the idea was like it will be a Nerf gun fight. But the thing is that I'm gonna have to make Joaquin. I think I like talked about him in another video and I made a fake name for him because I made up a fake name for him for like a thing that I published one time. So it was me, it was Joaquin, and there was this other guy who's also come up in multiple stories. He's the guy who I talked to you about. Actually I didn't even finish that story. Fuck. Okay, we'll go back to that. But he's the guy who appears in the story with the kid who can control ravens, who can control crows. That the girl made me believe that he could control crows. That story will be finished later in this video. But for now, we're gonna call that guy like Shane, for a reason. That is not following the naming convention. I usually just do like different first letter of the name, like keep everything else. But same first letter of the name, but change everything else. But he's getting that name for like because it's like a secret reference. So he will be able to, he might remember what that's a reference to, but he doesn't watch these videos. So. Anyway,